Hello and welcome to the Seaglass Perspective. I am your host, Chris Nackos. We spent a lot of time in our other videos discussing unhealthy and dysfunctional patterns, difficult emotions, and some mental health issues that we may struggle with as a result. Today, I wanted to give a little bit of a framework for assessing our general coping strategies. And to do so, I'm going to present to you some broad ways to categorize the ways that we cope. The first category focuses on directly tackling the problems that we encounter with problem-focused coping mechanisms. This is where we are focused on finding a solution, whether we're brainstorming or actively putting things into practice. Sometimes the simple fixes escape us in the moment, and all we need to do is quickly reevaluate things and the answers present themselves. When problems or issues that we encounter have a more emotional impact, the emotion-focused coping mechanisms come into play. These are focused on helping us to process and sit with the emotions that we are feeling, and can include meditation to help calm our mind, journaling to help express ourselves, or engaging in positive thinking to bolster our sense of security. Sometimes we may get to a point where we feel a little emotionally stuffed up and we're struggling to just let the emotions out. This is where movies, television shows, and music can sort of break through that blockage, so to speak, and get the emotions flowing. At times, I'll encourage a client to schedule a good cry. By that, I mean hop on YouTube and run through a couple of clips of sad scenes in movies, just to get the tears flowing and hopefully help them to feel the release that a good cry can give us. Pixar movies are phenomenal for this. We could also use this in times of stress to lift ourselves up, queuing up a bunch of heartwarming or uplifting videos to brighten our mood and help us to reconnect to our senses of hope and positivity. Sometimes when the emotions that we are feeling need to be tabled, either because they're just too raw to be processed right now, or we just don't have the time or bandwidth to do so, we engage the avoidance-focused coping mechanisms. These serve to distract us from what we're feeling temporarily and take the form of whatever hobbies we have. For me personally, running was one of the most effective methods for me to disconnect from my emotions for 30 minutes to an hour. It really kind of put me in a Zen state during that time. When we're considering more long-term stressors, the meaning-focused coping strategies become very important. This is where we develop and reinforce our purpose and begin to see that the problems that we are dealing with are things that could actually help us grow rather than hinder us. So we may do things like set long-term goals for ourselves in various areas of our life, whether that's signing up for a half marathon, something I did a few times, learning a new skill, or investing in our home through home improvement projects. Sometimes we can look at the stressors that we're encountering, consider the ways that we've gotten better at coping with them over time, and validate ourselves for our ability to continue to do so. Now, all of these things that we can do individually are greatly enhanced, made more effective if we're doing them with a loved one, a family member, a friend, someone who's supportive of us. As a therapist, I spend much of my time serving as a sounding board as my clients talk through their stressors, their problems, oftentimes coming up with their own solutions and needing little to no advice or feedback from me. Sometimes when they get stuck, I throw out some solutions that have worked for me or for other clients that I've worked with in the past, and hopefully this provides some direction. Processing our emotions with others can feel very uncomfortable or anxiety provoking, but in reality, this can be the healthiest way of emotionally processing, assuming we have healthy supports in our lives with whom we can do so. When we need distraction, having people to make plans with and spend time with makes that process much easier and potentially more fun. At the very least, they end up holding us accountable. Developing meaning on my own can be easy enough. but joining a group or making a commitment with someone else enhances that. As much as I loved running, I don't think I would have ever ran a marathon if my wife hadn't brought up the idea and ran it with me. While it is helpful to invest time into a hobby or into improving an area of our lives, investing in other people can be far more validating and uplifting. Spending quality time with and investing in our children, a niece and nephew, a grandchild, a cousin, or a friend can have a profound impact on our lives in general. Now, this is obviously a broad overview meant to spark some reflection on the various ways that you have coped throughout your life. My wife has a shirt that says something to the effect of "You survived every hardest of your life so far." And I love the sentiment behind that. The reality is, sitting here today, you have already overcome all of the stressors that you've encountered thus far. At the very least, you've been able to move through them. No teenager or adult has ever sat across from me in my office and said that their life has been a complete breeze up until this point. Sometimes we can forget this and consequently forget how we overcame the problems that we've encountered in the past. So I encourage you to reflect on the past successes that you've had overcoming your stressors. Think about all of the coping mechanisms that you've engaged in the past, however big or small, and how you could put them into place now in the present day. I want to thank all of you for watching today's video. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me either in the comments section below or through our website, seaglasscounseling.com. The link is on our channel page. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Once again, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time here on the Seaglass Perspective.